Hello and welcome to another week of Arabesque, the show that brings you up and close to the Middle East and North African arts and culture life in the metropolis that is London. We have a great show for you lined up this week. We are going to go to the exhibition of a young Turkish artist at the Lahad Gallery. We're also going to go a bit deeper into Lahad Gallery's story, plus an exclusive interview with the director Eliane Raheb. But first of all, the ever so controversial and conceptual artist Adel Abdessemed. The David Zwirner Gallery opened in 1993 in New York. They opened the doors to their London gallery in the beautiful Mayfair area in 2012, and today they are showing Adel Abdessemed's third solo exhibition. Born in 1971 in Algeria, Adel Abdessemed studied art from early on, before traveling to France, where he attended the National School of Fine Arts in Lyon. He was artist-in-residence at the Cité International of Arts in Paris, and has worked in both New York and Berlin. Today, he is back in Paris, where he works and resides permanently. His work has been subject to major solo and group exhibitions in France and upcoming exhibitions in Moscow, Venice, and Shanghai. Abdessemed uses a wide range of media and takes on well-known material to transform them into charged artistic declarations. He pulls freely from a variety of sources for his inspiration, from personal to social, from historical to political. He creates a rich visual language that is simultaneously sensitive, radical, and mundane. In his latest work, Vase, abominable, he meshes cultural references with themes of war, violence, and spectatorship. One of the largest pieces is the 2-meter-tall copper pot, positioned on top of a replica of a large explosive device, a carefully crafted bomb, whose relationship to the vase remains ambiguous. This is typical of Abdessemed's work, the use of various materials to create large shapes, crossing each other in a non-typical fashion. Another one of his most impressive pieces is the ivory life-size figure of the well-known picture of the young girl in Vietnam fleeing a napalm attack. Surrounding the figure is a series of drawings featuring soldiers in full gear, who maybe represent those surrounding the children in the photograph or any other armed conflict. It's a touching piece, which disturbs you not only because of the meaning of its history, but because of the sheer size of it right in front of you. The little girl's desperation comes so close and becomes urgent and alive as she stands naked and cold in the middle of an open floor. An innocence portrayed by the ivory she is made of, and a desperate face calling out, with her arms weighed down by her shock, hardly able to reach you. Yet somehow she reaches deep in our souls and leaves us marked by her destiny. An animation entitled State is projected onto all 4 walls in a separate room and features labyrinth-like drawings which recall Republican prisoner protests at HM Prison Maze in Northern Ireland during the late 1970s and early 80s. Whatever material Abdessemed uses, he transforms it into images of historic events and powerful struggles. His search for meaning in life, in conflicts, and in the world is explored in every piece of material he uses, sometimes that material being himself. As in the Je suis Unisons exhibition, where he exhibits the picture of himself standing on the street on fire, and the results of his work is left for us to awe and devour. As he himself has said, squeeze the way you squash a lemon, squeeze the meaning. And so, in the observing of his art, this is what we as the audience hopefully can do. Algerian-born French artist Adel is truly a citizen of the world. His diversity in his work, the play with all sorts of material, may be a reflection of his personal life and also the events of the world that he finds captivating. What I found really captivating about this exhibition is that he leaves this diversity in our hands and lets our imagination create an interpretation and life of his art. Tracing back the origin of letters, Turkish artist Asli Erel showed us her exhibition, Letters and Art of War, revealing works of art that shows human behavior throughout the history of time. We spoke to Asli Erel about her work and also dove a bit deeper into the story of the Lahad Gallery. We went up to the beautiful Hampstead Heath, where you can find some of the most richest and glamorous of people. And this is also the place of one of the most greenest areas of London. This is also where we find the Lahad Gallery. The gallery opened its doors to a London branch in 2010. It focuses on the promotion of Middle Eastern art, and particularly that of the women. Lahad Gallery, one of Lahad Gallery's managers, tells us more.
The purpose of the gallery is to improve the art of Middle Eastern artists here in Europe and to promote them here in Europe. Lahad is the blink of the A, and so we would like to be a link, an important link between London and between Middle East. We think that this is a great opportunity not just for the artists but also for the Londoners, for people who live here in London, because they can admire and they can learn more about this Middle Eastern art. Well, we would like to transmit culture. We would like that they enjoy about Lahad Gallery, they enjoy to stay here, they enjoy to have a chat with us also, have a chat about Middle Eastern artists, but in general about contemporary art here in London. London is an amazing city, and this is also a great location to speak about this kind of contemporary art. Our new artist, Asli Erel, the Turkish artist that you can see here, she's a really beautiful artist. She's really amazing because she works with calligraphy, with different kind of calligraphy like Arabic, Hebrew and Turkish alphabet, and she mixed all these alphabet together, and this is the result.
The young Turkish-born Asli Erel has always had a fascination for the art of the written word. She was born in Istanbul and studied decorative arts at the Topkapi Palace. Graduating from the Yildiz Technical University 2003, she then followed up by exploring traditional Turkish arts, often working with wood, classical mats, and canvas. In her exhibition at the Lahad Gallery today, Letters and Art of War, she explores the origin of letters and traces back to the time when they were first used.
Harfler. I selected them especially because these three languages, Hebrew, Arabic, Aramaic, especially visual richness, and I find them so aesthetical. That's why I chose them.
Visit here, she tells us about growing up in Istanbul and how it has had a profound impact on her interests and art.
İstanbul'u çok seviyorum. sanat yaşamı.
Istanbul has a big impact on me, especially because Istanbul is the place where three religions meet, and this feature of Istanbul is so important for me and for my artworks.
Yaptığım işlere.
I'm so happy for being here. London is my favorite city in the world, and also I'm so proud of being especially in Lahad Gallery. And I was so excited in the opening night, and it was everything was beautiful. And also my future plans is to open other exhibitions in London, UK, Europe, and also Middle East. I hope it will happen. I hope really in heart.
Her main inspiration comes from religion, and in particular Islam, Christianity, and Mosaic religion, and she seeks to give people new insight and hope with her artwork.
I want them to find hope here in my paintings. Also, how this hope sometimes can turn into wars among them, because hope represents religion. Religion is belief. These concepts are so connected, but sometimes religions themselves can cause wars. Also, I wanted to stress that.
Ben çok teşekkür ederim. Thank you very much.
As part of the Bird's Eye View Film Festival, Lebanese filmmaker Eliane Raheb came to show her film Sleepless Nights. We were lucky enough to have an inspiring chat with her, and this is her story. Each year, the British Film Institute organizes the Bird's Eye View Film Festival, celebrating women directors around the globe. This year, the festival focused on women from the Arab world, inviting directors from diverse countries to show their work. We had the chance to visit the festival and get an exclusive interview with Eliane Raheb, the Lebanese director who came to screen Sleepless Nights. She told us a little bit about growing up in Lebanon, having a childhood marked by war and an uncertain future, but also how coming from such unsettled circumstances can bring a unique freedom and even a sort of happiness, and how after war ends, it is not always all smiles and an instant bright future that awaits.
I think it made me what I am today. Having lived the war all the time in Lebanon, I wasn't away. We didn't emigrate as a family somewhere else. So we lived it as a reality. And when it's a long war, you have sometimes where nothing happens. I mean, you have peace, little peace times, where you just, you expect that, everything's gonna be fun. So it's kind of dynamic. Youth and childhood, and in the same time you live every day as it is the day, because you don't know what happened tomorrow. So it's filled with emotions, filled with what you want, filled with expectations. The after war was more disappointing, I guess, not immediately after the war. I can say starting the 2000, like 10 years after the end of the war, was a disappointment, because I mean, you would say, where are we going to? Why are we repeating the same cycles of crisis? What does it mean to be in peace when the people are not in peace with each other, where every sect is still fighting and still having the same sectarian problems? You don't have a real powerful state. You don't have institutions, real institutions that can back you up as a citizen. You always have to find your protection in your sectarian environment. So all this was, coming up, and me being in my 20s, and where you can say, okay, I start now something new in my life, and then you see that the real future is not as beautiful as it should be. So you start saying, okay, shall I emigrate or not? Or shall I stay and serve, if we can say serve, my country?
Eliane was initially captured by a fascination of the audiovisual medium in general. She appreciated images and colors and how they would impact the viewer. She would spend her time watching movies in her grandfather's private cinema theater.
This was the first time where I felt, oh, I want to do this. The real questions of being a filmmaker came after, when you start linking this, universe of pictures to your reality. And you have questions and you have issues you want to talk about. So I guess it's not immediately after I studied audiovisual that I understood what it is to be a filmmaker. I was experimenting, being in the field, being in the whatever is audiovisual. It could be ad, it could be short movie, it could be working around this field. But taking the decision to be a real filmmaker came after, when I started having a lot of questions about the reality of being Lebanese, of being an Arab, of being in that region. So yeah, it's challenging, and at the same time, we have a lot of inspiring stories. And when you don't have a state, a real powerful state, I guess everything is allowed also. Experimentations are allowed, and everything has to be built.
Before starting to film her documentary Sleepless Nights, Eliane was initially fascinated by the question of human behavior in wartime. She was also asking if it is possible to rebuild the humanity of people like the characters in the film.
كنت بسيط تحمل سلاح؟
ايه
أول مرة حملت سلاح بتذكر؟
بس رحت اشتريت المسدس تبعي، رحنا على مخيم فلسطيني شتيلة، اشتريناه من تاجر فلسطيني.
تاجر فلسطيني ضدكم؟
تاجر فلسطيني، واشتريت معه علبة خرطوش وقتها فيها 25 ضرب يعني.
بتحب حالك أنت وقوي وعندك سلاح؟
ايه أكيد، بتعطي إحساس بالقوة بالرجولة.
حسستك إنك رجال؟
كنت فخور. نحن مسيحيين عم نقوم بحرب ضد أعداء المسيح وضد أعداء الله.
كنت تحس حالك شعب الله المختار؟
مش قدهم، بس لدرجة معينة ايه بلا. المسيحيين هن أفضل دين، وأنا بس حالي إني أفضل من المسلم.
I had questions after the war about how can one become someone who participates in the war, and what does it mean, and how an ordinary man who wanted to be an engineer and who was a real brave engineer student comes in the war of the game of the war and becomes, someone who decides the fate of others. And how, when he think about it now today in his new reality, what does he think about that, and will it be possible to build his humanity again in a place, in a country that doesn't really give importance to the wounds of the war? That was the first questions I had, and then I had this character Asad Shaftari, who was the first person in Lebanon to really apologize for his war actions. So he came up in the media as someone who, was trying to share his experience so that people don't repeat the same war actions that he did because he regretted it.
The film also partially deals with the question of the amnesty that was given to the war criminals of Lebanon's war, and what kind of impact the absence of justice has on the victims of war. Is it even possible for the people of Lebanon to move on without any kind of closure or sense of justice having been done? She questions this as she reveals her second character, Mariam, in the film, and the open wounds Mariam still carries.
Doing the research, he told me about Mariam, the second character, that he was trying to help her to find her son. So I went to Mariam and I saw the relationship between them, and I decided then it would be about two characters, not about only Asad, but also about this character who's still searching for her son today, whose story is still alive today, while it happened in 1982. So 30 years later, this woman was still struggling to find the face of her son. And maybe Asad would give her some answers about it. So, I became involved in that research. This is how it was all built up.
In conjunction with the festival's theme, we also spoke a little bit about her thoughts about the likeness or differences between Western and Middle Eastern culture, and women versus men, in life and the film industry.
The prejudice of the people are ongoing. It's not one film or one show or one, whatever it is that will, erase prejudice. It's a whole decision that someone has to take that, okay, I have to know more about this issue and I have to do my research about it. You don't see the opposite image. Like, for example, when we receive American films, they expect that we know everything about them and that they don't know about us, so we should fill their gap. Well, no, I see a lot of films which don't answer my questions, but they open up some issue, and I will do the research after and see if really I'm interested in that issue or not and understand it. With this, civilization clash and whatever, we are reduced to ambassadors coming to a country to portray our reality in a different way. This is too much asking from an artist. I'm not doing films for that, to fill the gap of the Western, how do they think if I'm Bin Laden or not. I'm doing films because I want to confront, first of all, my own people to their realities. And then maybe if there's an issue of someone, I will do it, but it's not my interest being an artist to do it. It's about culture, it's about films, it's about books, it's about open people who want to open up to other civilizations. I don't make a difference between Arab women and Arab men. I think that even Arab women have more rights than Arab men. I think that every Arab man loves his mother a lot, so the Arab mother is very influent in the Arab society, and she has the real power. So, yeah, okay. I think that women have more luxury of thinking of doing films or art or culture or whatever. So, yeah, it's good we're doing, but I don't make this difference. I really don't make it.
Eliane takes it day by day and doesn't worry too much about what's next. She's clear on the fact that she wants to continue making documentaries, and especially with a socio-political theme. And at the moment, her critically acclaimed Sleepless Nights is still being screened all around the world.
I enjoy London and the nice weather for once. Yes.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed our show. You're welcome next week as we roam the city for more of Middle Eastern and North African arts and culture life here in London town. Bye! Next time on Arabesque. A fantastic upcoming episode of Arabesque where we will travel through Sahrawi music with talented musician Aziz Ibrahim, laugh hysterically at the comedy of Oedipus, the play which has its UK premiere in London, and find ourselves bound by life's endless and repeated questions. In the Iraqi artist Sadiq Al-Faraji's exhibition, I Do Not Feel That I Am Free. An emotional journey through life's big questions, entertaining narratives, and intriguing stories, only on Arabesque.